In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Barbie. Whilst I die many times in a new Minecraft world, I'm still getting used to the keyboard controls, so bear with me. Alright, it's Barbie time. I don't know about you guys, but I had extremely high expectations for this movie. From the trailers, it looked hilarious, the star-studded cast looked remarkable, but I think the defining moment for me was seeing Margot's feet stay elevated. I know that sounds kind of cringe, but I think when I saw that specific shot, I felt Greta Gerwig knew how to capture the right audience. I also think parodying 2001's A Space Odyssey intro was really smart. It told the audience, hey, even if you don't like Barbie, this is a movie for you. It captured the nerds that would have written it off otherwise. After viewing the film 9 times, each with a different friend group and a wide range of audiences, I can solidly say it's not what I expected, but it's almost perfect. A few moments I really liked were when Ryan's Ken was shredding waves at the beginning, when Ryan's Ken was discovering patriarchy and finding a job in the middle, and finally when the Kens were singing I'm Just Ken there at the end. But to be honest, I found myself laughing the whole time every single watch, and the first viewings found myself on the verge of offense and perfectly represented at the same time, which we'll talk a bit about later. Ryan Gosling's Ken isn't going to be a new personality this time around because it already was my personality. Obviously, I'm Just Ken is a work of art, and after 9 viewings and tons of listens on Spotify, I can solidly say it's the best song of 2023, and all of my friends that watched it with me can agree. And no hate on Jack Black's Peaches from the Super Mario movie earlier this year, but I really hope I'm Just Ken wins Best Original Song. My opinion on the movie hasn't always been perfect, though. Before talking with others and viewing it 7 more times, I felt a little confused. It seemed as though perhaps the filmmakers were trying to get minimal hate. What I mean is, they were empowering women by tearing men down, but that wouldn't slide by the men, so they perfectly represent men, more particularly men in the friend zone, and then gaslight us men by saying maybe the reason no one likes you is because you're too needy and not being yourself. Obviously, they said it in a nicer way in the film. And in the end, they literally said maybe someday Kens will have as much power in Barbie Land as women do in the real world. Doesn't that just negate the whole story arc? Isn't the whole point of the movie to show men the problems women have and vice versa? But no, instead they tear men down in the most toxic, narcissistic, gaslit way possible. They build up the Kens, give them what they want, and tear it away just to make them hurt. I love the movie, and I see now that women have it hard. I think, as a man, I was represented well, but I just wish they could have had Barbie Land a little bit more of an equal environment at the end, because the way they ended it just felt like they learned nothing. After my second or third viewing, a friend and I were chatting. We decided that seeing as it's satire shouldn't be taken too seriously. But maybe that's just surface level Barbie. It was around this time I got really invested in the movie. I watched it again and again, adding more and more information to my little Barbie-fed brain. And at the end of the day, I never thought this movie would portray men's mental health, but here we are. Over the next few days, I noticed how different people reacted to this film. Teenage girls were biased, adults were appalled or indifferent, and teenage boys absolutely adored the film. But mostly because Ryan Gosling's Ken. The humor is targeted towards teens that grew up with Barbie, and that's about it. The Barbie movie's message for women is pretty bitter. It feels anti-man and empowers women by tearing down others, especially men, which we should all know by now is not empowering. It shows off the worst trait found in modern-day feminism, which is toxic altruism, i.e. the act of tearing down others to lift yourself up, and being generally disinterested in the well-being of others. But Ken represents teenage boys nowadays, and it's done so well it's kind of impressive. To explain why it's done so well, I'm going to go over Ken's story as well as how he was feeling throughout. Ken feels worthless. He's so lonely because no one seems to see him, not even the Barbie he's got his eyes on. He sees other Kens do stuff that he can't do and it makes him jealous. Jealousy blinds Ken into thinking the only reason I'm not seen by Barbie is because I'm not cool like these other Kens. So he sets out to become cool, respected, and seen by others. We see this while he's becoming a doctor and attempting to get a high-level paying job with influence. While doing this, he loses himself, getting caught up in things that don't really matter. He eventually loses control, using his pain as a reason to hurt others. This leads others to be a little more transparent, leading to Barbie telling him she doesn't like/respect him with or without his cool stuff. And this leads him to think, if Barbie doesn't like me with or without my stuff, then what have I been living for? Maybe my life is nothing. Maybe I serve zero purpose. Eventually, Ken realizes that it wasn't these other Kens that were cooler, but that they're different, and going through and feeling similar things. He realizes that he is enough, no matter how Barbie or the other Kens feel about him. That sums up the story of Ken, but for this next part, I invite you to replace your name with Ken's. The movie's message to the Kens of 2023 was, don't let others distract you from being the best you can be. Not a girl, not a guy, not someone's stuff, nothing. Improve yourself. You are worth it. Your future is worth it. Ken's, your mission, should you choose to accept it, ask that girl out. If she says yes, boom, girlfriend. If no, move on. Don't get caught up in the feelings. Improve yourself. There's always tomorrow. Move at your own pace. Don't compare to those around you because you're doing it right. You're doing it your own way. And now, because I've spent a lot of time with the guys, I want to have a little message for the girls. From the guys. Us Kens are all just trying our best. No one is perfect, so give the Kens a chance. If you don't like how they treat you, tell them. If they don't change, move on. Kens can't read signs and need you to be told in person. A good Ken will love you for who you are and leave you alone if you tell him. And now for the final message I leave with you all, the viewers. Life is hard. Be open about how you feel and talk with people. You never know how someone is doing emotionally or physically. If you don't like how people are treating you, don't treat them like that. Just be yourself. We're all trying our best. If you enjoyed today's video, I ask you drop a like and share it with your fellow movie lovers. And if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it and see what you think. Your own opinion will always, sometimes, be more important than mine.